Hey y'all, Rick Sky here, and I wanted to do a follow-up review of the Sonos Arc soundbar after using it for a few weeks, and just going to give you an honest opinion, share my honest opinions after using this soundbar for several weeks. Now, first of all, I do want to apologize. It's kind of messy. I got some butt paste on the thing here. I mean, it's just, I'm not trying to doctor this up. I just want to give you an honest review. And if you're looking for the Sonos Arc and the mount like I use, expand this video's description and then click the link there. So for starters, one thing I want to address is the mount that I use. I could drop it down more, but I wanted to keep it closer to the TV. Some people had commented and they said, hey man, you need to drop it down a little bit more because it kind of blocks the sound. I haven't had that problem. As you can see here, there's about an inch gap between the bottom of my TV and the top of my Arc. So it works well for me. Now, with that being said, I could have just as easily put the Arc on this dresser underneath the TV. And that's what a lot of people may opt to do. But keep in mind, if you do that and you don't have, holes in your wall where you can run the cables, you would have a cable, potentially a power cable going down to the wall, but then you would have another cable running from the Sonos Arc to the back of the TV. So if you couldn't hide it, you would see a cable, and I just think that looks cheap. So for that reason, I use the mount like I use, and you can see a cable back there and there, but they're very somewhat well hidden, and it's just a really, really good sounding soundbar. One of the things I want to talk about, and again, I'm not going to turn this thing on and let you hear it because that's stupid. I mean, this is a video. You're not going to be able to appreciate or discern the quality of the audio from watching a video. So I'm just going to give you my opinions. And first of all, I do a lot with professional audio and video. This is my YouTube channel at the time of filming this. I've got almost 60 million video views and almost 82,000 subscribers. So I'm not a big channel, but I do a lot of video and photo work, and I've grown to appreciate quality audio as much as I appreciate quality video. The audio from this thing is exceptional. One of the things that's really cool with most shows, movies and TV shows and whatever you'll watch, you're going to probably notice a surround type effect. And keep in mind, this is just a sound bar, but because it's Dolby Atmos, now keep in mind, not all shows are Dolby Atmos, but even the ones that aren't Dolby Atmos, they sound really good with this Sonos Arc. So I mean, it's a good sounding sound bar. I felt that the price was right. I mean, it is a little bit expensive. Again, expand this video's description and click the link there to find the Sonos Arc, the mount like I use for my TV, and then also the Sonos Sub. And we're going to talk about the Sonos Sub here in a minute. But this in itself, for a larger room, even a smaller bedroom like I have it in, it's just a really good sound. And the build quality is nice. I've got some dust on it because I need to dust it off so you can see that dust. But it's easy to clean. That's one thing I want to mention, that some of the other Sonos soundbars, which are very nice, but some of them, like the Beam that I have, check out my Sonos Beam video. I've got it in another room. It's kind of a fabric-y material. So this is more of a hard, I guess you would call it kind of perforated metalish type material. I don't want to misquote what it's made out of. But yeah, you can see just from my hand right there, I was able to wipe that off. If it was a soft fabric meshy type material, it would be a little bit more difficult to wipe off because, anytime you get dust and something that's kind of fabric-y, it seems to kind of stick in there. But this is just, a hard surface, easy to wipe off. I've really enjoyed it. Would I buy the Sonos Arc again? Without a doubt. You may find that for your use case, you may find that the Sonos Arc by itself is plenty good. You may not need a subwoofer. But if you want to do what I do, you probably want to go with a subwoofer. See, over here, I've got the subwoofer, which adds to the cinematic experience. So, that's something you may want to consider if you want a little bit more bass. With that being said, it's perfectly powerful without the subwoofer. But see, I'm in a small room, and when you pair this with the subwoofer, man, I mean, you're getting some wicked good bass. It's almost like being in a movie theater. So, I mean, this thing is super cool. Something else you can do, depending upon the size of your room, and that's what's so cool about Sonos, you can add Sonos surround speakers. But again, since this does Dolby Atmos, I don't really personally see the need to add surrounds because I get a surround sound type effect from the Sonos Arc, so I don't really need to add those additional speakers. But if you were in a larger room, you would probably want to add those because it would make the sound even more awesome. One of the biggest takeaways from using the Sonos Arc for many weeks now is the voice quality. The voices are very clear, easy to hear, and the thing is the bass, if you pair it, even if you don't pair it, there's good bass out of this. But if you pair it with the Sonos Sub like I did, and again, expand this video's description and click the link there, you can find all the Sonos speakers. But if you do that, the bass does not overpower the vocals. So if you're watching an action movie and they're shouting at each other, you still hear what they're saying, but you get the bass. The other thing about the bass, it's not a rattly bass. It's a very solid, the best way to describe it if you're in a theater, that type of professional sounding bass. So, it's just a really, really good way to improve your home TV watching experience. Again, these things aren't cheap, but in comparison to other options out there, they're not that expensive either. I mean, taking into consideration that most people would only need the Sonos Arc. They probably wouldn't want the extra bass like I got when I added the Sonos Sub with it. But some people may choose to go with the Sonos Arc. They may put some Sonos One SLs in the rear. They may put a Sonos Sub in there. They may put two Sonos Subs. You can pair this with two Sonos Subs, which is really cool. And the setup and maintenance is super simple. You do it all from the app. Couldn't have been easier. And it's got an audio tuning thing in the app that makes it sound optimal in your room. The updates, there's firmware updates that are released quite frequently. That's all done through the app. I haven't noticed any cutouts or anything. That's one thing people are like, well, man, that's on a Wi-Fi network. Do you get cutouts and this, that, and the other? And I haven't, and obviously this is wired to the TV's ARC, or your computer or your TV may have an EARC port. It's just connected to that. But this does wirelessly communicate with the subwoofer since I added the subwoofer. And no, I have not noticed any cutting out issues with that. So wireless is not a negative. Wireless is actually a positive for this. And one of the things, if you're like me and you put Sonos in multiple rooms in your house, you can control all of those rooms independently. You can control the updates. You can control the treble, the bass. If you choose to adjust those levels, you can do all of that through the app. And it's just a really, to compare it to other companies, I mean, it's kind of like when you get an Apple product, if you're like me and you're an Apple fanboy, you like the quality and consistency of Apple products. And this is the same type deal. I mean, it was professionally packaged when it arrived. It's just been, the build quality is great. It looks good. You can get it in a couple different colors, and I've got all those colors linked within this video's description. At the time of posting this, it's available in this black color and also a white color. But the sound, the sound quality speaks for itself. Again, very powerful sound, but you can also enjoy it at lower levels. If it's late at night, it's got a little thing you can push, and it'll reduce the bass and stuff so it's not as loud. But again, it's a very captivating sound. But if you go in another room, it's not like inferior audio systems where it just sounds really loud and obnoxious. This has a very pleasing sound to it. The best way to describe it, I mean, it's hard to you just got to set one up for yourself in your own environment and listen to it. And especially if you've used other, inferior speakers in that same room, you will likely immediately notice a quality difference. I mean, it's audibly superior to anything I've used, and I've used a proper 5.1 surround sound system with, a center channel, 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, and a sub. So I mean, this thing it's very nice, and again, the space that it consumes is minimal. So I would recommend using this TV mount like I use. It was easy to install. It was super affordable. And again, you can find it linked within this video's description. But there's also wall mounts if you want to mount it to the wall. If you want to do that and you had your cables professionally routed, you could go that direction. You could put it on top of a dresser. The mounting options are up to you. And this is underneath a 55-inch TV, just to kind of give you an idea of how large. This is a larger soundbar. So if you've got a smaller TV, smaller than 55 inches, you may want to look at the Sonos Beam. So check out that video if you're looking for that. And I've got several Sonos Beam videos as well. Hope this video helped. Please ask your questions below. Again, I'm not trying to doctor this up and try to attempt to produce audio through a YouTube video so you can hear the sound quality. You can't. You got to hear it in your own room. But if you're looking to buy the Sonos Arc, the Sub, the Sonos Sub like I use, any of the other Sonos speakers, expand this video's description and then click the link there and you can find them all there. Thanks for your viewership and y'all have a good day.